protection at wellowner.org.
The views expressed on the following program do not necessarily reflect the views of Money Radio staff, management, or advertisers, and do not represent an offer to buy or sell any securities. Some interviews heard on this program may be sponsored by the participants. It's time for Health Futures with Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth. This is Arizona's only show dedicated to providing you with expert advice on how to live a longer, healthier, and happier life. To learn more, call 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon and welcome to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. My name is Michelle Cornelius and I'm a guest hosting our show today, filling in for Bob Roth. I work with Bob at Cypress HomeCare Solutions as the Director of Memory Care Programs. If you're just tuning into the show for the first time today, Health Futures is a show about how our older adult population can live a longer, healthier, happier life. We've had the pleasure of bringing you the show for the past 4 years, and we accomplish this by putting together an incredible list of guests that come and share their expertise with us. Today is no different. I am happy to have on the show today Shelly Drews, who's with Help My Senior. First, Shelly, let me ask you, tell me about yourself.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. So I have always had a passion in working with seniors. And so when I went to school, I got my master's in healthcare management with the hopes of being able to oversee care for the aging population. So about a year and a half ago, after leaving the senior industry, I've been running memory care facilities. I've owned care homes. I have done caregiving training for many, many years. And I decided I wanted to kind of reach out of the walls a little bit. And so we created Help My Senior, which is all focused on providing dementia education. So dementia being the third leading cause of death in Arizona. 1 in 3 seniors, the ages of 65 and older, are dying of this. And we are just in the middle of an epidemic. It's very, very scary times because we're not prepared for this.
Right. I've heard a lot of doctors refer to it as a pandemic.
Yes.
This silver tsunami of our aging population coming.
Yes, that's right. And so we're trying to empower ourselves and the families that are dealing with this to know what to do, to know how can they be prepared as their loved one is transitioning through this horrific disease.
So what about dementia makes it your passion?
There is a vulnerability. I have such a respect for seniors that I believe that they deserve dignity, respect, love, and a quality life. And in order for them to have that, we need to know how to deal with this disease process. And what I have found is that even within our senior professional industry, which I've served in for over 20 years, there is a lot of education out there that's medically based. What is dementia? We know that we have 100 different types of dementia. Alzheimer's is the number one type, but we've got Lewy body disease, frontotemporal dementia, which we're dealing with a lot more in the behaviors.
Yes.
And it's horrific. And so we are trying to say, before the symptoms are starting, as people are progressing through the disease, this is how we can prepare you in knowing what to expect. And then also in understanding how, as a caregiver, we can maintain our quality of life as well.
What is it about in the 20 years of experience you've had that you felt like you needed to reach beyond the walls, that you needed to start getting beyond a facility or the immediate training that you were doing with paid caregivers? Yeah,
that's a great question. Well, I just see that there is a large audience of people that are not getting the education needed. And we don't have the practical training as much as we do the medical. And so the series that we've created is based upon practical, hands-on training that allows us to take care of our loved one in a way that gives that quality life. And so Teepa Snow is an international dementia specialist who we're flying out here to do our 5-part dementia series, starting with next Friday on March 9th. We have sold out for that event. We're very excited about that. But it's a different type of training that we're providing and being able to reach the families who are isolated in their homes. You know, they don't have the time. When you are taking care of somebody with this disease, you're isolated. You know, you feel imprisoned in so many ways. So we are trying to reach out to them to be able to give them, you know, the empowerment of this knowledge.
You know, I've seen Teepa speak a couple of times, and she is a very dynamic speaker. And it's not just about the education with her, but about the skill building as well.
Yes.
And I've seen her demonstrate with folks and pull them up on stage and use them as examples. And you've had a lot more training directly from Teepa. Tell us about your experience with that.
Yeah, so I am certified as a coach through Teepa. I decided to go to the best of the best. And we like to tell people, if you're sitting in the front row, be prepared because you just don't know what's going to happen. You know, she wants to show us a realistic approach. And so she plays the role of somebody that's having this disease. And in that, it allows us to understand what to do right and what to do wrong so that we can identify that. But she really focuses in on the strengths. The disease takes a lot from us, but there are pieces that we do retain. And so as helpless as we can feel going through this disease, there is hope. There's still a quality life that people can live in having dementia. And so we want to focus in on that. We want to focus in on what strengths do we have? What is the brain still able to do that allows us to do things? And we want to be able to build upon that rather than the other. So
it does sound so hopeful for families to be able to gain some skills and still see that positive.
Yes.
I find that very often families are in the trenches, so to say, and they see the negative parts of this disease process on a regular basis.
Yes.
And it is very isolating, therefore.
It is. I have a friend who... she's actually a neighbor, and her husband, who's been a pastor of a church for quite some time, he got frontotemporal disease, and unfortunately in that, he has reverted back into some high school years, and he doesn't hold back when he sees women. He talks about their body parts, and he doesn't recognize that he's married because he's back in such a younger age in his mind. He's actually calling his high school friends and talking about all the girls that, used to be around him at that time. And the saddest thing is, my friend called me in absolute devastation because even though she recognizes, yes, this is a disease, she's lost her husband. And she said, this is not what I had set out for. I didn't know that I would retire and become a caregiver to somebody that doesn't even recognize that I'm his wife.
Absolutely. And I work with a lot of families and talking about Dr. Pauline Boss's theory of ambiguous loss, that we're losing somebody who is here but not here.
Yes.
And what does it mean to be a wife if I'm the only one who remembers our history? And that's really hard for families to go through, is the loss of the person's memory and the loss of who they are as a being, because I'm sure your friend's husband would never hurt her by making these comments about other women and by having this high school-like behavior. And so how do you balance that as a family member in still being a wife and yet a caregiver?
Yes. And that's where the best thing that we can do is to give them the knowledge to understand what it is and what's best for them to be able to deal with that aspect of symptom of the disease.
And with the skills training that TIPA is doing, they will gain some of that. And we're coming up on our first break here. So when we come back, we're going to go more into the session, what is being offered through what you're offering with Help My Senior and these very hands-on skill building kind of sessions. Thank you so much. This is Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. Michelle Cornelius with Cypress HomeCare Solutions, and guest here, Shelly Drew with Help My Seniors. We'll be right back.
Gunderson's nationwide Best Stocks radio show is now on Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM. Every morning from 9 to 10 a.m., professional money manager Bill Gunderson will talk about the economy, markets, and the best stocks now. Bill Gunderson is also the inventor of the Best Stocks Now app and the writer of the weekly Best Stocks Now newsletter. If you like to invest in the markets, this is the show for you. You will not want to miss one episode. Visit GundersonCapital.com for more info. That's GundersonCapital.com.
Hi, this is Sinclair No for Investment Property Experts. Whether you're looking for income acceleration or portfolio growth, Investment Property Experts is the right choice. IPX is Arizona's only turnkey, full-service real estate investment firm. IPX delivers higher-earning investment opportunities with 9% returns on single-family properties in the greater Phoenix area, and incredible 15% returns on current development projects in the fast-growing vacation destination, Rocky Point, Mexico. You heard that right. Earn up to 15% annual returns. Get on the road to an earlier retirement through hassle-free turnkey investments, earning up to 15%. Dial hashtag 250 on your cell phone, say IPX, or visit azipx.com. Hashtag 250, keyword IPX, or online azipx.com.
Business owners, contractors and facility managers, turn up your radio now. It's me again, from across the pond, the voice of Croy Sign Systems, recognized by ranking Arizona as a top 5 sign company. Croy signs are found in facilities needing to communicate information, provide direction and identify rooms and spaces. Whether you need 1 or 100 signs, make Croy your go-to company for building code, life safety and ADA signs. Call today or visit us at kroysigns.com. That's kroysigns.com.
Looking to add your talent to a dynamic company? United States Traffic Network seeks a motivated account executive to join the sales team. Send your resume to ustrafficnetwork.com/careers.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. This is Michelle Cornelius. I'm guest hosting for Bob Roth with Cypress HomeCare Solutions. I am here today with Shelly Drew from Help My Seniors. If you missed the first segment of the show, you can log on to Cypress's website at cypresshomecare.com and catch both the first segment of the show in its entirety when we're done, and all of the shows, about 160 that we've done in the past 4 years. So Health Futures on cypresshomecare.com. Before we left, Shelly and I were discussing a dementia series that Help My Senior is putting together for 2018. And the first session is next week with TIPA Snow, who is an international trainer on dementia, and works a lot with skill building for families. Tell us the name of the company that she's with, Shelly.
Yeah, so it's TIPA Snow's Positive Approach to Care.
Okay, and this first one has TIPA, but you have 4 other sessions that still have ticket availability throughout 2018. And she has some of her trained trainers coming to do some other things. Yes. So tell us about the first session and what's going on in 2018.
Yeah, so we are very excited about the series that we've put together. So the first one with March 9th, TIPA Snow herself will be here. And she is doing a topic of understanding why difficult behaviors occur.
Which every family who encounters dementia, and not just families, but community members who may not realize a person has dementia, all at some point have some type of distressing behavior.
Yes. And the fact that 1 in 3 seniors are dying of this disease, a lot of people will ask me, well, who are these events for? And the answer is it's anybody that has an aging loved one. It's every one of us. Because if you're not affected by it right now, you will be at some point.
Yes.
So that's just unfortunately, the statistics of where we are with this today.
And in starting the series, challenging those distressed behaviors seems to be a great place to start.
Yes.
But you have a lineup of other things through the year.
Yes.
Tell us about your event following that.
Yes. So April 13th, just 4 weeks later, we actually have Teepa Snow's daughter. She's going to be coming and talking about Dementia 101, understanding the brain changes. And I am told that for those who know Teepa Snow, she's very well known in our senior care industry.
She is, yes.
And a lot of families will look her up online if you're looking for help with different behaviors and things you're dealing with. Teepa Snow is typically the person that will pop up with a video of training.
Yes, and you can go on YouTube, quite a few videos by Teepa on YouTube available for the public.
Yes.
But I don't know as much about her daughter.
Yes. So she is, I am told, even more dynamic than Teepa, which is really, really hard to believe. But she's fabulous. So, when people come to these events, expect it to be a very entertaining and exciting day because we really get in the nitty gritty. It is, something that we do where we're more, hands-on and involved as we go through the training. So Amanda is going to be talking about what are the brain changes, but again, what are the strengths that we have, not focused on what are our losses, but what do we have and how do we work within that. And sometimes it's something as simple as how do we really approach somebody who has this specific type of dementia? How do we hold their hand? How do we regain attention when maybe they're having a hard time focusing or eating and doing things that are really important for their daily care?
And great to go with that strengths-based. I've noticed when I've been to Teepa's specific trainings, she's not hesitant about bringing up the bad, though, the losses, the challenges.
Yes.
But then really turns it to focus on how we can approach things differently to make it successful. And what we as care partners, as professionals, as the community to do to empower people who have dementia.
Yes.
And it's great to hear that in that second series, even talking about the brain changes, talking about the things that are the strengths of the person who has the diagnosis.
That's right. Yes. And a lot of times unknowingly and unintentionally, we can create what is titled, quote unquote, a behavior. And, some things that are just as simple as coming to the person with a smile can completely set their day. And making sure that we are always staying positive, never arguing with them because you can't change their reality, although many of us like to think we can. And, there's no judgment in any of it because even for us that are experts as trainers in dementia, when it happens to us personally, it's very different with the dynamics and working with our family, which we hear about that all the time.
Yes.
But there is so much that we can do if we just come in with a joyous heart and being able to bring the light in per se rather than, coming against them because you can't always teach them new things. And so you're fighting a battle that you're not going to win and it's exhausting you. And so we don't want that for you or for them.
Absolutely. And you will become exhausted sometimes long before the person who has dementia because you're fighting an illogical battle.
Right.
Or trying to fight a logical battle with an illogical mind, I guess.
Yes, that's right. Yes.
And so if we can learn how to change our own approach and sometimes change the environment, I've always said that changing our approach and the environment can reduce any challenges that we're experiencing by probably 80%.
Yes.
The other challenges are often due to things like a person having pain, an illness, things that they need to see a doctor for.
That's right.
But oftentimes our approach is the biggest change, the most effective change we can make. And Yeah, I've talked to a lot of families, too, about needing to use things like mindfulness so that they can learn to be in the moment, to take a breath, because the person with dementia will pick up on how you're feeling, too. And if you're sad or you're anxious, they're going to reflect that back.
Yes.
And we're exacerbating a situation that really, if you had approached with a positive heart, it could have been avoided altogether.
Completely. And it was really breathtaking. I was at a gentleman's home this week with his wife who had an early onset of Alzheimer's. And she was getting a little anxious as she came out and met with me and just, getting her day started. She was very, very sweet with lots of hugs, which I adored. But as she was getting more anxious, she started to raise her voice, and you could hear the anxiety, but she did have aphasia, so it wasn't coming out in words. It was just the tone of her voice. And it was so beautiful because her husband met her where she was. So as she got high in her voice, he did too, which helped calm her down. But then also he would take a deep breath and do it for her and raise his arms up in the air and then breathe back down, and she immediately picked up on it and calmed down. And so the other piece of being able to meet them where they are when we talk about being in their reality, it's also emotionally, because if they can't communicate, they need to understand the emotions don't go away.
Right. The emotions are the one thing, even if we've lost language and we've lost other skills, the emotions are still there.
Yes.
And to be able to meet her where she is, what a great example of some of these skills that you're teaching.
That's right. Yeah, it was neat to see somebody that
really
was working in that.
And really implement it.
Yes, yes,
Yes.
because you saw the result. And then she came over and gave me a hug and kiss. So I was the beneficiary of the situation, which was fabulous.
That's great. That's great. Now, what's your third series?
Yes, so September 14th, we have a lady who was actually my mentor going through the program, Kathy Tuckey, and she is talking about seeing it from the other side and taking care of you as a caregiver. So this is really meant for people who are taking care of their loved ones at home or, in a facility, wherever they may be as home. And unfortunately, we see, you and I being in this industry, a lot of people who pass away as a caregiver prior to their loved one who's dealing with the disease.
Very often, yes.
Yes, I think it's 50 to 60% of the time.
Right.
Right. And so, unfortunately, that is a big area of concern for us because as a caregiver, we have got to be taking care of ourselves and paying attention to that because once we have nothing left to give, it starts affecting our health.
Right. And stress affects every part of your body,
Yes.
every body system. And if the care partner cannot take care of themselves, they cannot take care of the person who's diagnosed either.
That's right.
You have to be able to take care of yourself first and fill your own cup.
Yes.
We are coming up to the end of this second segment, Shelly. Yeah. It goes so quickly.
It does.
When we come back, let's talk more about that caregiver need and how the caregiver can fill up their own cup, how the caregiver can take care of themselves. You have this session coming up September 14th. That is part of that. This is Michelle Cornelius with Cypress HomeCare Solutions, and I'm here with Shelly Drew from Help My Senior. Shelly, thank you so much for being here so far.
Thank you.
We appreciate your time. This is Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. Real quick before we go, we have a second. Shelly, if people are looking into this right now, can you give them the website or phone number that they can look at?
Yes, it's helpmysenior.com. It will have all the details of all the different events that we're doing. You can also call me at 602-327-3096, or again, go to the website helpmysenior.com.
Okay. And if people want to listen to the first part of the show, we can go on to cypresshomecare.com. If you're looking for any information on dementia or some more help, the phone number is 602-264-8009 for Cypress Home Care Solutions. We will be right back.
As we reach the bottom of the hour, we pause for a look at the world's news. Then we're back with Money Talk. We're Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM.
More than 1 million homes and businesses are without power, with 80 million people in the path of a nor'easter that is battering the East Coast from Washington up to New England. Meteorologist Jennifer Gray says the bomb cyclone will continue to impact the region.
It is still getting stronger. It's bringing rain and snow across New England. It has several different components to it. You have the rain component. You also have the very strong winds. We've had gusts 60 and 70 miles per hour already recorded. That's going to continue throughout the day and tonight.
Amtrak has temporarily suspended all train service in the Northeast Corridor. More than 2,800 flights have been canceled or delayed. Plus, the Federal Aviation Administration has imposed ground stops at JFK and LaGuardia airports in New York. Flooding has also been reported on some coastal streets in Boston. A mixed day of trading today on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average continues to sell off, down 163 points. The S&P down 1.5. I'm Ann Cates.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit beefy, or even with type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Affordable term life insurance is out there. Call Term Provider and speak with Big Lou at 800-481-1458. 800-481-1458 or visit biglou.com. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds too.
For a limited time, Wendy's quarter-pound double stack is just $1. That's right, a tasty two-story tower of melty cheese made with fresh, never-frozen beef for just $1. And since Wendy's double stack has a whole quarter pound of beef, it's the best double cheeseburger you can get for just $1. But a deal this big doesn't come around every day. So get a quarter-pound double stack at Wendy's, because it won't be $1 forever.
Offer not valid in Alaska and Hawaii. Fresh beef available in the contiguous U.S., Alaska, and Canada at participating Wendy's.
The leader in business news is the station you can take with you wherever you go. Get the Money Radio app for your smartphone and stay connected.
Hello, I'm Mo Ansari, host of Market Wrap and president of Compact Asset Management. Join me at my next seminar on Wednesday, March 7th in Scottsdale, where we will talk about ways to make money in today's markets. With the markets at all-time highs, what should you do with your excess cash positions? How will the Fed's rate decisions impact your portfolio? With international markets outperforming, how much should you have in your portfolio? How much real estate should you own? And how much risk should you be taking with your investments? Dial pound 250 on the cell phone and say Talk to Mo for your free reservation right now. That's Wednesday, March 7th for the free seminar in Scottsdale. Just call pound 250 on the cell phone and say Talk to Mo for reservations. Again, from your cell phone, call pound 250 and say Talk to Mo.
Compact Asset Management is a registered investment advisor. Funds custodian, Fidelity Institutional Wealth Services, member FINRA SIPC.
Hey everybody, Mark Asher here with a story I think you all love and respect. You know, many times we hear about fathers turning the family business over to their sons, but it's not every day we hear about the daughters who end up running the family business. We are lucky here in the Valley as we have that very story with the Lund Mortgage Team. Let me introduce you to my friend, the CEO of the Lund Mortgage Team, Lisa Lund.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Lisa, your dad, Stan, was one of the best in the mortgage business and started the company when you were just a young girl. How proud are you today to own the Lund Mortgage Team?
I'm extremely proud and honored. I was able to work with my father side by side for 16 years before he unfortunately passed away in 2014. In that time, he taught me how to run a business with honesty and integrity. My dad believed in handshakes, face-to-face interaction, and most importantly, putting the client first. Today, the Lund Mortgage Team continues to carry on this personal touch. My family would love to help your family with any of your mortgage needs.
Family owned and operated. Call the Lund Mortgage Team today, 623-875-9940.
Cold or flu? Fever is flu's trademark. The Extragen Temporal Scanner is the #1 thermometer pediatricians recommend. Protect your family with technology backed by over 70 clinical studies. Extragen.com.
I'm Bruce Vail with Your Money Now. Drug makers Biogen and AbbVie said they are voluntarily withdrawing their relapsing multiple sclerosis drug Zinbrida from global markets. They said evaluating the drug's complex and evolving benefit and risk profile will not be possible going forward given the limited number of patients being treated. and the withdrawal is in patients' best interests. Shares of Snapchat's parent company Snap are up 4%. On a report, the company is working on 2 new versions of its spectacles glasses, including one that will focus on performance improvements and another that will feature 2 cameras. The company reportedly is also interested in licensing its cameras to traditional glasses companies. Fears of a global trade war are weighing on the broader stock market. The Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 140 points. The Nasdaq is up 33. The S&P 500 is flat. That's your money now.
It either is or it isn't. When it comes down to it, that's all that really matters when choosing a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz. It's either certified by Mercedes-Benz factory-trained technicians or it isn't. It's either backed by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 5 years, or it isn't. It's absolute confidence in 30,000 precision parts, or it isn't. The Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned Sales event now through February 28th, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. Come in today and take advantage of 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing offers available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. There are those who settle for nothing less. For them, the choice is simple. It's either up to Mercedes-Benz standards, or it isn't. It's flawlessly maintained, or it isn't. It's either Mercedes-Benz Certified Pre-Owned, or it isn't.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Welcome back to Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. This is Michelle Cornelius with Cypress HomeCare Solutions. I'm here with Shelly Drews from Help My Senior, and we have been talking about dementia care and a series coming up in 2018, starting next week, to really help folks understand dementia, to gain some skills so that care partners are better able to cope with what they're going through. When we left segment 2, we were talking about caregivers getting themselves filled up first, getting what they need in place so that they can take care of themselves and therefore take care of their loved one with dementia. You know, there's some great programs here in the Valley dedicated to things like mindfulness. Hospice of the Valley has a wonderful mindfulness for dementia care partners program. There's some great programs through Duet on ambiguous loss and series that they have going with that. If you're looking for that information, contact me at Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009, and I can get you information on both of those programs. But the program that you have coming up through Help My Senior is another one by a training group that really does travel the world talking about dementia.
Yes.
And I think that for families who are going through this, being able to get the information in multiple formats at different points in time is so important, because what you need as an early stage care partner is very different than what you might need as a mid-stage care partner or as a late stage care partner. Just as the disease changes and changes the dynamics of what you're experiencing, it's good to keep going through these things.
Yes.
And so what's the name of the program in September that you have?
So the September 14th is Seeing It from the Other Side and Taking Care of You.
And we were talking in the other 2 sessions, the first one being March 9th on understanding why difficult behaviors occur, and April 13th, Dementia 101, understanding brain changes, that they really focus on the strengths. And I'm imagining that in the September 14th, Seeing It from the Other Side and Taking Care of You, they're also going to be very strengths-based.
Absolutely, yes. There is so much to making sure we take care of ourselves. And I think if any one of us really ask ourselves, are we doing that? Majority of us would say no. We live very busy lives and, we just keep going. And unfortunately, when we are responsible as a sole provider and taking care of somebody else or other people, it is critical that we stop and we pay attention to ourselves and where we are, because it requires so much of us, whether we do it for a loved one or we do it professionally. And so really taking an assessment of where we are emotionally and what our needs are is critical. And, you know, for families that we're focusing a little bit more on today, you know, the emotions that you go through in this process are going to be like a roller coaster. The hurt, the disappointment, the loss of a future and the dreams, and not only acknowledging those for yourself, but talking to other people, finding fellowship with other people who are going through this process as well. There are more people out there than what you realize going through this. And a lot of times when we get together, we discuss what our challenges are that we're dealing with that day at that particular time. Somebody may have already been through that and figured out a solution that'll work for you. And so getting involved with others, getting involved in support groups, getting involved at the Banner Alzheimer's Institute, the Alzheimer's Association, and just continuing to learn about these things, making sure that you are eating regularly through the day and drinking your water and getting the nutrients that you need. You need to have a strong temple. Your body has got to remain strong.
Right. And, when I I facilitate some support groups in town, and in talking to support groups, exactly what you said, that if I come to a support group and don't feel like I received anything today, I need to look at what I've given that day. Because if I've gone through this before, I may have just helped somebody who came in desperate with not seeing any hope and feeling very helpless. And so I gave that day. Yes. And how important it is for folks to be around others who understand what they're going through. I've seen an infographic recently talking about dementia being like an iceberg. And the part that society tends to know is the memory loss, which is really just the tip of the iceberg. And under the waterline, all of these things that we cannot see, loss of the ability to care for oneself, loss of the ability for executive functioning, things like driving, following recipes. And so, and then the challenges that go along with that, both for the care partner, you're seeing potentially depression and anxiety and all sorts that is really buried beneath the surface. And that's not what people see. They only see the little tiny tip at the top. They see a person come out who's very put together and don't realize that underneath the surface, the care partner had to go through a lot to get the person to appear put together. That's right. That it could have taken hours that morning to just get out of the house. And how many times care partners decide, I'm just going to not go out. It's too much work. Mm-hmm. And so they become isolated and they are not taking care of themselves. What I see is that when people get too far in the disease process, when they finally get to the point where they say, okay, I need help, we say, great, let's get you some help and get some respite in the home, whether it's through a paid caregiver or a friend or somebody coming in, a family member, and being there so you can have time away. And by that time, the care partner is saying, but I don't even know what I would do.
Yes, a loss of identity.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so with programs like you're offering, we're really able to help people maintain their own identity and be a care partner at the same time.
That's right.
You have two other series I want to make sure we get to talking about. Yes. So you have one in October. What's that?
Yes. So this is a very unique one. October 12th, we have Beth Nolan coming to join us, who is also a certified trainer with TIPA. There's a very small handful of them that TIPA has actually certified. So she is going to be discussing how to overcome challenging behaviors in emergency situations for those living with dementia. And that's going to be a very unique topic. We talk about emergencies and what that looks like. And when we're working with somebody that has a particular form of dementia that's dealing with some more behaviors, it can be terrifying to have a fall and break a hip and have people rushing to you to address whatever your needs may be. And being able to make sure that our approach is appropriate is so critical. This is for senior professionals as well as family members, but it's more so for first responders. So firefighters, 911 operators, police officers, because when we're going into a situation and maybe they're, they have 10 seconds to identify, is this a life-threatening situation for me as a police officer? We can talk about them. And when they're coming in, and if it is somebody that's dealing with dementia, they need to be able to immediately identify, okay, this person is somebody that's dealing with these issues, and be very careful into how they approach them, because they can make the situation worse. So something as simple as knowing that if they've got the gun on the right-hand side, they're going to go in with the left side facing this resident.
And, when here in Arizona, we often see silver alerts on the freeways. And this is a person who is at risk, not necessarily dementia, but potentially. Mm-hmm. And they've been called to look for them. I also have worked with the Sun City West Posse, and when I've worked with them, they'll just have somebody walking the golf course. They may not be a silver alert out, but how do I approach somebody who's walking along the golf course in their bathrobe and slippers at 2 p.m, mm-hmm. or worse, in their bathrobe and nothing on their feet in the middle of summer? And so looking for the signs that a person might have dementia and then how to approach is so important in being able to reduce risk for both the person diagnosed and that first responder. Yes. It's amazing that you're doing that series. Mm-hmm. Shelly, we're up on the end of our third segment already. This is Michelle Cornelius from Cypress HomeCare Solutions and Taking Stock in You with Shelly Drews from Help My Senior. We will be right back for our last segment.
Hey, Phoenix, Larry Kudlow here. Be sure to join me every Saturday at 2 p.m. on the Southwest's longest-running financial talk radio station, the one and only Money Radio. And during the week, don't miss Mastering Money with hosts Steve Jurich and Ken Morgan daily at 8 a.m. right here on Money Radio 1510 a.m. and 105.3 FM.
For podcasts, download the free Mastering Money app for both Apple and Android and visit masteringmoneyradio.com.
Are you tired of your power bill going up year after year? Did you know with the changes voted in by the Corporation Commission in August, your APS electric bill will increase year after year? That's why you need to call Ask Solar Sandy. Solar Sandy can save your hard-earned money on a bill you're already paying too much on. Just think, you can save thousands on your electric bill and control the cost of your electricity and avoid unexpected rate hikes. You can also increase the value of your home and help the environment. And remember, there are zero upfront cost or fees. This rate increase will increase your power bill. That's why you need to call Ask Solar Sandy today. The best time is now. Call Ask Solar Sandy at 623-850-8229. That's 623-850-8229. Visit AskSolarSandy.com. That's AskSolarSandy.com.
Napa know-how. Hey, I'm Chase Elliott, driver of the number 9 Napa Chevy. Here to tell you that when you spend $25 at Napa this month, you'll get a free number 9 Napa racing cap. So whether you're a fan of drivers with fast cars or just a fan of keeping the sun out of your eyes, you'll get a free number 9 racing cap just for spending $25 at Napa. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer expires 3/31/18.
Looking to add your talent to a dynamic company? United States Traffic Network seeks a motivated account executive to join the sales team. Send your resume to ustrafficnetwork.com/careers.
Now back to Health Futures, taking stock in you. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call 602-264-8009. Now, here's your host, Cypress HomeCare Solutions, Bob Roth.
Good afternoon. This is Michelle Cornelius filling in for Bob Roth here at Health Futures, Taking Stock in You. I'm the Director of Memory Care Programs for Cypress HomeCare Solutions. I've been with them about 2.5 years, and during this time, my focus has really been on helping empower people who are living and working with those who have dementia, and really helping the person who is diagnosed to have purposeful, meaningful days that are still enjoyable, but also that they want to participate in. And I'm here with Shelly Drews, who's with Help My Senior, who has the same passion. Yes. And the training series that she set up for 2018 really is giving people who are working with, loving, living with somebody who has dementia those skills that they need to be able to appreciate the day and look at the strengths that are still there in spite of the loss that they're experiencing. We've just finished talking about their October date, where the series is helping first responders understand how to approach the person who might have dementia in a positive way to reduce risk. Yes. I want to make sure we talk about the last of your series too, Shelly. What's your last session this year?
Yeah, so November 2nd, Teepa Snow will be coming back to close us out, and she is doing best practices in dementia care and learning how to give care without the fight.
And fight is huge when we're talking dementia care.
Very much so.
Again, our approach makes such a difference. And I've seen so many different types of fighting. There's emotional conflict, verbal, physical. I've seen the gamut of it over the years. Yes. So being able to reduce that risk is really amazing.
Yes.
And being able to give the care partner skills to be able to do that. And this sounds like it could apply to all sorts of settings.
That's right.
Not just a family caregiver, but paid caregivers as well.
That's right. Yes, absolutely. And, when we talk about this, just as an example, one of the biggest things I would say all of us deal with and have the most difficulty with is showers and bathing.
Yes.
And so, I like to tell people that pay attention to the modesty and the dignity of the person that you're caring for. Most often I have found in running my facilities is that they don't want to get undressed because it's cold or because they're modest. Sure. And nobody wants to be, sharing themselves with people that they don't know that well. And maybe they've known them for 5 years, but to them that day it's brand new.
Yes.
And so something as simple as being able to make sure that they're covered up as they're going in to the bathroom, even if they need to take a shower and get their clothes wet and you have an extra load of laundry to do, that really and truly is okay. Keep them covered up with the towel. The towel can get wet, and then eventually you transition the towel off, making sure that it's a warm setting.
Right, and it needs to be warm before you go in.
Yes.
And the water should be on and running. Think about how long in the morning we stand around waiting for the water to warm up in the shower. And if I have dementia, I don't know why I'm standing there.
Yes, absolutely. So you've got to have that water warm, like you said, and the lighting is set well. Play music if music is which actually music is such a huge tool for every one of us, not even just those dealing with dementia.
Right.
And then even looking at if having them a little bit more preoccupied on something else, if they like ice cream or lollipops, give it to them. What's it going to hurt?
Absolutely. I've had ladies eat ice cream in the shower. I've had men drink a beer in the shower.
Yes. It's okay.
That's fine. Absolutely.
Yes. We have to get outside of the box. And I think so many times that we are trying, to provide care and things have to look a certain way. Please get out of that, because it's only hurting you and your loved one or the person that you're providing the care for. And so identify what that individual needs. It's different for every single person. There is no person with dementia that looks the same and acts the same. And so we need to identify, based on their past and who they are, what are the tools that we can use to help them have that better life.
And looking in that last session on those best practices, what we can do overall to implement great days, change our behaviors, give them a great day. Because really having ice cream during a shower doesn't matter. They've gotten the shower and the goal was reached. It's about if we're accomplishing what we needed to in that moment, and the moment is hygiene.
Right.
And everything else in between really is just doesn't matter.
Yes.
The other, just as an aside too, some tips that I've had with showers that have worked well are teaching people to start with water down at the feet as opposed to water on the head and shoulders. If I get hit on the head and shoulders first, I'm very surprised by it, but I can slowly work up the back on somebody's feet and they don't even notice. And really approaching from behind with the water in front instead of in front. In front, you have a really positive, happy face, like you talked about earlier. Yeah. That if they read you as positive, then they're projecting positive as well.
That's right. And identifying when they normally took their shower and the life of where they remember themselves to be. So, if it's in their 30s or 20s and they maybe they used to go to work at 4 or 5 in the morning and they would always have to do that to wake themselves up. You have to identify the time frame that they're living in, because I have a lot of times where caregivers may try to give them a shower at nighttime. Well, if it wakes them up, then you're going to have some other behaviors and some other things to deal with.
We're not going to be sleeping well that night.
Yes, exactly.
Right. And there are others who need a cup of coffee first before they get in the shower.
Yes.
So let's figure out what they are used to. And the goal with all dementia care really should be to do things the way that they want it done.
Right. Or a sponge bath is another big one. It's okay if they don't take a shower in the way we would want it to look like.
And using their words.
Yes.
So if they call it a sponge bath, great. But how many folks still, take a spit bath?
Yes, that's right. That's right. Yeah. So we need to honor them and give them the dignity of allowing it to be their life and who they are. And, the series that we have of these 5 different parts, with regards to the senior professionals, we do have continuing education units for them, specifically for administrators, managers, and social workers. We are in the process of working to get those for nurses as well, for specific ones. So you can go on to the website to see what that looks like for each event at helpmysenior.com.
Excellent. And I know that so March 9th, tickets are no longer available, but April 13th are now available on your website on helpmysenior.com.
Yes.
Excellent. Shelly, I appreciate you being here and helping us through this process, telling us what you have available and being able to add to the repertoire that's already out there in the Valley. Because the Phoenix area, really, there's 130,000 people living with dementia right now.
Yes.
And so that means that they all have care partners and family members who are affected by this and can really use this information that you have.
And every 66 seconds, somebody new is being diagnosed with it.
And so this, like we said, the silver tsunami is here.
Yes.
And so the more we can empower folks, the better off we're going to be in the long run as well.
Yes. And there are preventative things that can be done. So 2019, our focus is going to be working with Maria Shriver's Women's Alzheimer's Movement and identifying what can we do for ourselves and for our loved ones on the preventative side.
Great. And we have that to look forward to. So keep up with helpmysenior.com. And if you want to go back and listen to this whole series, CypressHomeCare.com or 602-264-8009. This is Michelle Cornelius with Cypress Home Care Solutions and Shelly Drews with Help My Senior. Have a great weekend.
There's no place like home. You've been listening to Bob Roth's Health Futures. If you have questions about your own or your loved one's future health care, call Cypress Home Care Solutions at 602-264-8009. That's 602-264-8009. Or visit CypressHomeCare.com. Be sure to join Health Futures with Bob Roth every Friday at noon, right here on Money Radio 1510 and 105.3 FM.
Bill Gunderson's nationwide Best Stocks radio show is now on Money Radio 1510 AM and 105.3 FM. Every morning from 9 to 10 a.m., professional money manager Bill Gunderson will talk about the economy, markets, and the best stocks now. Bill Gunderson is also the inventor of the Best Stocks Now app and the writer of the weekly Best Stocks Now newsletter. If you like to invest in the markets, this is the show for you. You will not want to miss one episode Also, visit GundersonCapital.com for more info. That's GundersonCapital.com.
Money Radio 1510
and 105.3 FM.
KFNN Mesa, Phoenix. Mixed day so far on Wall Street. The Dow's down 174 points at 24,434. The S&P 500's down about a half a point at 2677. The Nasdaq's up 33 at 7214. Gold up $18 at $13.23 an ounce. And oil up 20 cents at $61 a barrel.
When people want to talk about money, this is the place they come to. And there's more on the way after this break for the latest news. And we begin